Hello, I'm Jerry Kirkpatrick, and I'm teaching the fundamentals of metal shaping. This is the Midget that I was a mechanic and fabricator for in 2012 when we won the Western States Midget Championship for the car owners. And as you can see, the air cleaner is directly behind the left front tire. Another team wanted an air cleaner guard like I had made for our car, so he sent me his air cleaner and some patterns to fit his car. Using a pattern that I had made previously, I could mark for the bead rolling pattern on the inside and then cut the piece out with a plasma cutter. And then I laid out the sides for marking the lines that I would be following with the bead roller. With the bead roller set up, I placed the panel into position on the line and then brought the fence up to make sure that the bead rolling was straight down the line. And after the rolling was done on the two straights, I did both ends freehand, and then I set up the top portion and did that whole part by hand. And here are the two parts after the bead rolling was complete. I decided that I was going to engine turn the raised portion on both the top and the side, so I polished those surfaces, and this is the setup for engine turning. And here is engine turning the top portion, and here is engine turning the long side portion, and here are both pieces complete after engine turning. The top and the side are going to be welded together, so I wanted to run them both through a set of tank rolls. The top die is just a standard Harbor Freight step die that I turned a radius on, and the bottom one is one of Lazze's flame dies. And here are both pieces after they've gone through the dies. The next thing for me to do was to bend the side piece so it matched the top. So I got a piece of heavy wall plastic pipe that matched the radius on the top, and found that a 1/2 inch spacer would give me enough to clear the table. So I clamped the pipe on top of the 1/2 inch spacers. The rag is merely so I wouldn't abuse the engine turning on the piece. Now that the bending form was set up, I placed the end of the long piece right at the end of the top there on the left, and then marked for the first tangent point and placed it directly under the pipe, under the center of the pipe, and then clamped the piece to the table. If you get any movement whatsoever on the side piece when you make your bend, it will kink. And then made the first bend, and then placed it back near the top piece and marked for the second tangent point, and clamped it directly under the center of the pipe. And made the second bend. And they both came out perfectly. Next thing to do is weld the top to the side. So I mixed up some flux and positioned the two pieces together. and made tacks at every point where they touched in a relaxed position. Using various hammers, dollies, and slappers, I brought all of the edges together on the top portion. And here you can see how nice and tight the fit is for the welding. This is the piece after all the welding was completed. This is all oxyacetylene welding. And I use a Hen-Rob torch and a Smith gas saver for doing my welding. As you can see here, the oxygen pressure is only 2 pounds, and on the acetylene I also only use 2 pounds. I keep my bottles strapped to the TIG welder along with all the welding rods, silver solder, and such. Here you can see the weld on the inside. It looks a little excessive, but it's really not. I know I'm going to be grinding most of the weld off on the outside, so I need this extra amount for the strength. And the line that you see on the inside there is the contamination from the outside. Before I started finishing the corners, I taped all of the engine turned portion with the tape so it wouldn't be abused. First I hit all of the corners with a 80 grit sanding disc, and then went around the whole top with a Vixen file. And after the Vixen, I could see that there were some low spots around the perimeter. So I sprayed the whole area with Dicam, and then hit the whole area again with a 80 grit flat paddle sander, and that made all of the low spots quite apparent. After doing some hammer and dolly work and a little more sanding, everything was nice and smooth. And I pop riveted on some standoffs which keep the top portion here off of the base. And by using a transfer punch, I located the hole in the front and the 2 sides for the Zeus fastener. And before I took the tape off, I polished everything that wasn't engine turned. And here you have the finished product mounted on the air cleaner. This picture is from the right side. Here we have from the left side. This is from the top, showing the top portion, how it curves around for the sliding sideways in a midget. And here it is straight on. If you like this video, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions about my forming classes, feel free to give me a call. If you like the content of this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this with your friends, and please subscribe.